What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolved video. So we are on our last list for LCQs. I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk about the same decks over and over again, but we are finally here and we're at the last list for LCQ, and I'm seeing so far that Uma actually took first place at Cali. So congratulations to Bommy for doing that, and let's go ahead and get into the list and figure out what is going on in Cali. So following up with after the intro, realistically, I didn't think Uma was going to be like a #1 deck, getting first place. I've seen it get second, I've seen it get fourth, but with this list and how things look, I was like, all right, so it doesn't look like Uma's gonna get first place because Swordcraft and Dragoncraft and all these other crafts are just very strong, and whatever you have to counter the followers and the removal and everything, I feel like those decks just really strive over it. But it seems like Bommy was able to do a very good job with what other decks were providing, so shout out to Bommy. Looking at this deck so far, and I'm seeing one difference. This card that was in Bizcraft, we got Sakura Chiono. So on race, you get this follow +1/+1 and select up to one Uma card in your cemetery added to your hand. All right, so it's like an extra Rice Shower, but it's not. It doesn't have ward or it doesn't deal any damage. It's just a 4/4, and you can get something out of your cemetery, that being a Uma follower. So in case you milled something off of Rice Shower, or I'm pretty sure it's a card. I'm pretty sure it's just a card. Yeah, so you can get Trial Initiation back and actually, keep looping that if you want to, that or Econodictus. But Econodictus digs a little deeper, but she's a little more expensive, so I can understand, if you get Trial Initiation. So shout out to Bommy for getting first place. I know I didn't think that this deck would get first place at all, so I am so glad that this deck was able to thrive. At least one more chance, in like a nice, ranked setting right before, set 3 comes out. So shout out to Bommy. All right, and we're moving on to second place. We got Rockstar's Swordcraft deck. So if any deck wasn't gonna come under Uma at any point in time, it would definitely be either Swordcraft or Dragon or Forestcraft. Honestly, those are the top 3 contenders for second place. Since Forestcraft is now on the map and we have to watch out for that. Back in set 1, set 2, it's like, yeah, you see the Forestcraft player, I mean, don't think too much. I mean, they might catch you off guard, but if you stay sturdy, you should do fine. But now you really gotta watch out, because you sit across the Swordcraft player, the Forestcraft player, and you're sitting there wondering, what's going to happen to me? you're afraid the whole time, and that's okay. But getting back to Rockstar's deck, I'm seeing a couple differences. So I see there's no Sea Queen of Dahime in this build, so we're really running on the Flex of Aurelia for maybe control builds and things that spam out. But we're seeing the one of Latham, so people really do have a high opinion of this card. Or when I say high, I really mean strong, that this card is trash. Do not sleep on this card. I understand, he's just a 2-drop vanilla. I'm just a great believer in giving these cards a chance, because this card is a 6/6 with Rush after Leonidas' Resolve. So be for real. I believe that this card can definitely come in clutch sometimes, especially with a Tokayo Teo body. If you just really need a body, it's nice. Or if you set up a Latham and then I see the Luminous Knight, this is actually a pretty good combo, so you can make your not Luminous Knight, but your Latham like a 4/3. And that's actually pretty good going into an attack, because that's almost a quarter of their HP. And then if they don't remove the Latham, and then you're able to remove Luminous Knight prior to swinging with Latham that next turn, you can make him to even a 5. So I can see why that would be a pretty clutch combo. But looking at everything else, I see that there's a huge high drop in Leonidas. I'm glad it worked out for you, Rockstar, but I feel like that might be a little high. I don't know, that just might be my personal opinion. I'm not the go-to Swordcraft player. So what do I know? So shout out to Rockstar for getting second place, and I hope you do well at Worlds. All right, and we are moving on to third place with Bellaboo's Forestcraft deck. So if it wasn't first place or second place, I would definitely see Forestcraft getting in third. That's where I honestly thought it was going to be with set 2, but we saw a lack of like a really heavy competitive scene as of like Uma was coming out, and there wasn't really too much to look at. But that's just me yapping, I'm so sorry. But looking at this list, it definitely runs a whole bunch of elements of different things. We've got this Rose Queen, and then we've got the Arya, we've got the Silent Suzuka, just lots of stuff going on here. I'm glad it worked out for you, Bellabooth, but this looks like straight randomness. I can't get a pinpoint. I feel like this is pretty clutch in like every scenario though. Like you still have your bounce line, and then you can draw your cards with the Ancient Elf, wards up, and then, you know, with the defense of, you know, Crystalia Lily, and then also, you know, Marvelous Sunday with the bounce, Crystalia Tia, Evo tokens. Like I said, this deck is kind of everywhere, but I'm glad it worked out for you, Bellaboo, because this deck is definitely amazing because I love Forcecraft. And then, you know, we also have the late game with the Arias and the Rose Queens and then the Silver Bolts. So shout out to Bellaboo for getting 3rd place, and I hope you do well at Worlds. All right, and we have 4th place going to Pink Floyd's Dragoncraft deck. And one thing I'll always say about Dragoncraft is that it is a strong deck, has ramp. You get into those boss monsters earlier than people really expected to see, and it just swings for a whole lot. So usually the strongest version of Dragon right now is the discard version. That being, you know, you have your Dragon Tamers and every way to like pitch a card, keep, you know, digging through your deck and then burning them for life. And then, you know, with those bigger cards that came out, even, you know, the Uma Self, the Oguri Cap, and the Riko Kamashito. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the card. Let's see. Riko Kamashito. Yes. All right. So I haven't seen that card been played against me yet, but I know it's very strong, especially if they're like constantly wiping your board, getting rid of your Fortes, you know, taking care of the Shenlongs. But, you know, you can also crack back with your Conflags and everything, and then Serpent's Wrath. I feel like that's a crazy spell card, by the way. Serpent's Wrath being a quick spell that draws at the end of their turn. It's just absolutely insane. But with Pink Floyd's deck, I can see that, you know, they're running the Dragon Tamer in their build, which is actually pretty good. It helps you dig through your deck a little faster, and, you know, it also gives you that discard if you don't have the Dragon Song Flute out. So I like that. So shout out to Pink Floyd for getting 4th place. This is definitely a staple Dragoncraft build, and I'm glad you topped. And, you know, I hope to see you in the next regional. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the video. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for staying tuned for all these LCQs. I know it was pretty hard getting through the last couple of them. It was pretty rough, but now that the LCQ season is over, we can focus on what's going on with Worlds. I'm praying that it's streamed so we can all watch it together. Speaking of streaming, I am going to be doing that tonight for Dragon Ball Fusion World. I will be streaming the beta if I can. I'm going to try my best to. If I'm not, then I'm just going to be streaming Shadowverse tonight. So I hope to see you guys there, and, you know, stay tuned. You could probably chill, come talk with me, chill with us. It'll be awesome. We can do the thing. All right, guys, make sure you're safe whatever you do tonight, and safe whatever you do for the rest of the year. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I gave you all my love, baby, my heart is cold when you're around. You warm it up, liquid gold, baby, yeah, you warm it up, liquid gold, baby, and my affection, all that paper you wasted. Take my love.